Hello and welcome, I'm the Legendary Pokemaster. Today we're talking about Groudon and Kyogre. These two have been at war for a while. So since I kind of like Groudon and I kind of like Kyogre, I decided to weigh them against each other to see which one is kind of better. So without further ado, let's start. First, I'm gonna tell how this video is organized. There are 3 categories each Pokemon will be compared in. The winner of each category will get a point bestowed upon them by our judge, Woodrum Wilsman. The one with the most points at the end wins, so yeah. To start, we should probably look at all the statistical stuff like we always do, such as the stats, moves, etc. Groudon is obviously the physical attacker. He uses a buff dinosaur thing that looks like it enjoys ramming into trees for some indescribable reason. This is reflected in his massive physical attack and defense, which might also be in part due to his being a ground type, a type that typically focuses on physical stats. Kyogre is the polar opposite of this. He seems like the kind of guy who just chills back in his chair in the classroom and non-physically hits everything with the right answer. However, the real comparison comes when we put their contrasts side by side. When we take a look at the stat tables for each of these two, we see they're pretty similar. Both have a base stat total of 670, and like most legendary and sometimes regular duos, they offer different but equal specialties. Basically, if you take Groudon's attack and defense and respectively swap it with its special attack and special defense, you have Kyogre's stats. This also obviously works the other way around. Because of this equality, we can't really make this its own category, but we can see how the stats help it in other ways. When we look at how these stats stack up against their weaknesses, it doesn't work out too well for Groudon. In its standard form, Groudon's weaknesses are water, grass, and ice, with all but maybe grass having a specialty in special attack, where Groudon falters. Kyogre fares much better since both grass and electric utilize special attacks for the most part. Looking at the susceptibilities by themselves, standard Kyogre seems to do quite well, with the 2 weaknesses and 4 resistances against Groudon's 3 weaknesses, 2 resistances, and 1 immunity. Kyogre even apparently wins in the moveset game. It has a bunch of solid special attacks to go along with this specialty. Groudon, on the other hand, has more special attacks than physical ones when it's leveling up, thus not matching up with its specialty that well. However, stats alone are barely any deciding factor in a battle. Just ask my Hydreigon. He has a hardy nature and managed to suit this guy's team.
Wow.
No, we're gonna go into strategies. Let's look at Groudon first. The thing I've liked most about Groudon ever since I first discovered its existence in Explorers of the Sky was that it has coverage for all of its weaknesses. The principal one to look at would obviously be water, since that's the type of the adversary we're comparing it to. Groudon learns Solar Beam for some reason. In case you don't know what that is, it's a grass-type special attack with massive damage output that usually takes a turn in advance to charge. But of course this thing doesn't need to wait for that. He has the ability Drought, which causes harsh sunlight as a weather condition on the battlefield. A condition which powers up Solar Beam within the turn it's selected. This helps it cope with Kyogre and evens the playing field out quite a bit. The other 2 weaknesses Groudon has, Ice and Grass, are easily covered by Lava Plume, Fire Blast, and or Eruption, and Ice to an even further extent with fighting type moves like Hammer Arm backed up with that massive attack. Kyogre, on the other hand, is more of a bland character. Most of its moveset is its own type, water, and then all the rest are basically ice. This puts it below Groudon in terms of move variety or its ability to be a versatile adversary, but it could still pull off a lot of things through the use of status moves. Let's take Aqua Ring. It'll allow Kyogre to recover health every turn and in pretty sizable chunks. A bunch of good stat changers like Calm Mind also keep it on edge, and if all else fails, you could just take out opponents with strong stab moves like Water Spout. But we're here to see these Pokemon at each other's throats, so if they were in a battle, based on all of the stat information that we just saw, which would most likely win? Probably Kyogre at this point. Don't get me wrong, this one is really close. Probably closer than any of my previous comparisons. But Kyogre just has too much going for it to let me rule in Groudon's favor. The only chance Groudon would really have is if it came into battle after Kyogre, initiating the ability that allows for a 1-turn Solar Beam. But even at that, Kyogre has too many advantageous moves and could easily be faster depending on its nature.
Thus said, Kyogre gets the point.
Kyogre is only the one that would probably win the battle. But Groudon can still win the war. Just because this matchup would result in a Sea Lord victory doesn't mean that Groudon isn't viable in other places. Groudon's wide array of moves in comparison with its counterpart allow it to shine in a lot of situations. Its natural moveset alone provides coverage for 11 of the 18 types in the game, and that's not even mentioning TMs, which Kyogre has a lot of as well, but once again with less variety. Also, if you want to use it in combination with your other teammates during a double battle, Groudon seems to be your guy. Let's take a mega such as Houndoom for instance. The Drought ability Groudon has would power up its own moves in addition to exponentially increasing the damage output of Mega Houndoom's special attacks as a result of its ability. Special attack being a stat that it already excels in. Your opponent would likely attack Groudon first, leaving its relative tankiness to absorb hits while Houndoom could probably get in quite a few KOs with proper moves. You can do similar things with rainy conditions in double battles, but the versatility of Groudon in this situation really helps out the battle progress.
For that reason, Groudon gets the point for other uses.
But there is still one more venue that we haven't compared yet. The almighty venue that everyone uses these Pokemon for in the first place. The venue that impatient people who haven't watched the video up to this point probably yelled at me in the comments for. Yes, we are talking about... When they debuted in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they brought a lot of new material to the table for these Pokemon. It made both of them cumulatively stronger than Arceus, and provided new moves such as Precipice Blades and Origin Pulse. However, one of the key deciding factors in the battle between these two primal forms is their upgraded abilities. For Kyogre, this is Primordial Sea, which is a powered-up version of Drizzle that negates any Fire-type moves that the opponent throws at Kyogre. On the other hand, Groudon gets a powerful variant of Drought, negating all Water-type moves thrown at it. Thus, if Groudon's ability comes into effect over Kyogre's, Groudon's only fundamental weakness would be Ground, as Primal Reversion makes Groudon a Ground Fire type instead of a solely Ground type. In terms of its leveling up moveset, Kyogre has no Ground type moves. The only ones that it can learn are from TM, Earthquake, and Bulldoze, and those don't even make use of its specialty in non-physical moves. For that reason, I believe that Primal Groudon is most likely superior to Primal Kyogre. What do you say, Wood Guy?
Oh, yeah. This is for you, Groudon. You win.
But this was actually probably my closest comparison I've made to date on this channel, and the argument could honestly go either way. So what do you think? Is Groudon or Kyogre superior, and why? Please leave a comment down below. You can also subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Regardless, Mega Rayquaza could destroy all of these, and I will see you in the next video.